What up? What up? What up? What up? Guys, I was in a hotel the other day and I don't have cable at home because I'm poor, but I got cable in the hotel. And can I tell you how exciting it was to watch like 5 episodes of Martin at once? Gosh, it was so good. So good. So we are welcome up. We got Dahlia, visitor and visitor. Hi Dahlia. Um, so for now, we're gonna get started in a few minutes. I'm just gonna wait for more people to come on. I mean, we're a few minutes behind 8 o'clock anyway. So you guys, if you'll notice on your screen, we got this fun chat column here going. This is where you're gonna say hi, throw out questions to me, anything that you'd like. There's also, I believe, right underneath the screen where you see this beautiful mug. I meant to find earrings. Oh well. Right, right below this beautiful mug here, there is questions, or I believe there's a place that you can throw out more questions to me. So, as just to make sure that I'm not crazy here, why don't Raven, can you just go ahead and type something in the chat box? And Dahlia and our mystery visitor from planet whatever, just go ahead and type something just so I know people can hear me. Ah, work it! Hey! Just so I know people are out there. Awesome. Like, you know when you're pretty sure things work, but you definitely just need that, like, is this really happening? My God. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wonderful. Hey, Tara. This is my pre-class, not class, but free pre-webinar banter called blah blah blah. Kill some time until 8 o'clock. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Let me more killing time here. Oh, hey guys. I am today's workout because it was, gosh, guys, I love the sun. I love the sun so much. Oh my gosh, it was so and so awesome. I was outside in this small park between the Brooklyn Library and Brooklyn Botanic Gardens, which are just two kind of big places in New York City. And there's a small park though, and it's probably got about the park I think has like a quarter-mile loop in it, I guess. And all along there are like different benches, and there's a little, like a hill here, not like a crazy hill, but just like a low hill. So I started doing these circuit training workouts where every time I would hit a park bench, then I would do like 8 push-ups or something. And I fucking hate push-ups. But if I only have to do 8 of them, then I could totally do that. So instead of me doing 40 push-ups in a row, which would not happen, I just traveled throughout the park and I did my push-ups that way. And I'm like, oh snap, that's awesome, son. Ah, da, da. Mhm. So, has anybody who out there has been a part of one of these live webinars beforehand? Ooh, I know Dahlia. Oh, oh, my first one. Hey, Tara. So, this is gonna be real casual for you guys. As you can see, this is super casual. When I move the computer back, I cannot wait to show you. I have the best t-shirt in the history of ever. This is gonna be your last call for the bar. Well, I guess really just mine. So one thing that I need to do, as I've done with my other webinars, first of all, welcome to my apartment. Hang on, stay there. I gotta adjust the monitor. Ah, there we go. I gotta plug in my power source. Ah, ah, la, la, la. Guys, look at my shirt. You're killing me, Smalls. Because I don't know, maybe you're reading that backwards. I don't know. I'm not. But The Sandlot is one of the greatest films to ever be created in the history of movies. So, hey, hey, it's 8:01. I'll tell you what, let's officially get this on and popping. So, welcome everybody. This is going down. This is the free webinar with Roz the Diva right here. Today we're going to be talking about kick-ass fitness teachers and what they all have in common and how you can be one of them if you're not there already. This is going to be perfect for those of you who are aspiring teachers, or even those of you who are just getting the teacher game and you want to make sure you come out swinging because you've had some fantastic teachers in the past and you know how important it is, especially to your career. So what I like to do, because I don't have a magic assistant with me yet, first things first, I'm going to introduce you to my monogrammed decanter because I'm an old white man who trades stocks for a living. Just so many things. Make sure you all have a cocktail, okay, when we do this. Just because, why not? Cocktails are great. This is filled with Knob Creek, specifically Knob Creek's smoked maple bourbon. This shit will grow chest hairs on you. It's good to start. You know, if I'm only taking this much, that shit is real, okay? Now, with this chat box, you guys are lighting up. I love this here. So go ahead and you can put comments, you can talk to each other, any kind of relevant information, go for it. I'm going to spend the first like 15, 20 minutes just going over my talking points, and then I'm going to jump in with a conversation there. So I'll also probably pause and ask you for questions. And like I said, because it's casual and it's being produced at Rosmay's Enterprise Studios, aka my couch, I will be kind of adjusting the monitor and picking up laptops and stuff. So, all right, let me just go ahead and make one adjustment. Perfect. So, I don't need this. So, kick-ass fitness instructors. Here's what I know about that subject. Number one, had I not had some absolutely phenomenal teachers in pole dancing, in spin, in all the zillions of classes that I've taken, I wouldn't be here. So I want to first give a shout out to some of my favorite instructors out there. Of course, there is Kira Johannesson and Leanne Tolabray from Body and Pole, my pole moms holding it down. They were some of the first people to ever see me touch a pole. And I'm literally talking about my first class. They were both there. So clearly I'm obsessed with them. Also, there's Lillian. So Lillian used to teach hip hop at Union Square Crunch, and I took her class for 7 years. 7 years worth of Wednesdays. I was getting my Beyonce groove on. I didn't care if I showed up late. I didn't know what song was going on. I didn't know the verse. Didn't give a fuck. Couldn't tell me it wasn't time to take Lillian's class. There's also Carl Hall, who is a fucking legend of legends. There's so many out there, and especially another big shout out goes to Brooklyn Siddell. So Brooklyn is one of my super homies from Crunch, and not only did we meet through pole dancing, and she was one of my teachers for years, but she also helped me transition or really learn how to teach things, regular conditioning classes that I was teaching pole, but I'm scared to do the other ones. And so she's one who was like, hey, grab your nuts, you're teaching this part of the class. So I was like, can you do it? She's like, okay, that's it. So that's my gratitude for others. Okay, now I'm ready. So I've got a list of 4 things that I want to, 4 topics I want to hit on that I think are really important for you to be a kick-ass teacher and the commonalities that I have observed. The first thing, and I'm going to try and do this in order of importance, but they're all pretty damn important in my opinion, is kick-ass teachers know who their people are. One more time. My first thing I want you guys to know about kick-ass teachers is that they know their people. In my case, my people are the ones in the gym who are loud, who are running around naked. Pretty much all of you watching right now. They are those probably who are the extroverts of their group, of their social groups. They are probably plus size. Certainly, I've taught every size imaginable and every gender and every gender identity, but certainly the ones who stick mostly and that resonate with me personally are plus size women. And then also, I've got a whole bunch of women of color out there as well who are also excited to see someone who looks like them. And understanding who your people are is vital. You cannot be a kick-ass teacher if you don't know whose ass you are kicking at the moment. And that takes time. That takes a lot of time. I'm talking about months, sometimes a year or two, before you truly fully understand which tribe you're supposed to be leading. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't lead other tribes and that you can't jump in and be able to work with different kinds of people. You absolutely should do that. That is an enormous skill. And that kind of relates to the point that I'm going to make after this one, is that you've got to, or I'm sorry, is that you've got to understand who you're working with. Now, besides just who is in that room with you, you also, from a marketing and business perspective, you want to know, generally speaking, what kind of socioeconomic status that they have or that they're working towards. Because from a business perspective, you want to know if you have this great marketing idea, this fitness scheme, and you're like, guys, come do this, it's going to be awesome. And everyone's like, yeah. You're like, give me $800 an hour. And they're like, so now there could be some people that they can realistically afford that. And that's cool. Get that money, boo-boo, okay? And then send it to me. Somehow figure out an excuse to send me the $800 an hour clients. But at the same time, but I know my people, that's not them. Most of the people that I end up working with are my similar socioeconomic status of middle or sometimes working or lower middle class, and we get each other. And every time I'm making a business related decision about marketing or about price or about opportunities or something like that, I've got my squad in the back of my head because I'm thinking, does this make sense with them? Is it something they're going to jive with? Is it their beliefs? Does it go with their values? And that's really important. And also, when people feel like they can relate to you, that's when you can do almost anything you want in class. Once you earn their trust and they understand that you give a shit about them and you understand that their plight and their thoughts and their bodies and their stress in and outside the gym, man, your coaching game is just going to go through the roof. You're going to have so much coach karma, you can make them do burpees all day. Just kidding, because I'm not making anybody do burpees. Maybe like a few, but not all day, because that sucks. So the second major point, I have my notes here, so in case you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking for. The second major point is, as I mentioned with the first one, you've got to know your people. And you've got to be able to tell your classes, tell your marketing, tell your business to them. When you're in class, and this is more of, I guess, a technical thing to think about, is you've got to be able to teach 4 skill levels at once. And so right now, I'm thinking about all of you who are in a group fitness setting in particular. Really? It doesn't have to be a group. If it's more than one person, it's a group. It's a group. Semi-private, whatever you want to call it. But when you walk into a room and you've got 5 clients or 5 students, it doesn't matter what you're teaching, you damn sure are going to have 5 different skill levels there. And, they may be close or they may be really off. I know with pole in particular, I teach a ton of open level classes. So that means I get people in the same 90-minute block who have never touched a pole before and those who have been fucking with me for 3 years. Now, my big thing is as an instructor, how do I make sure that both of these students on the bookends have a successful day? And success doesn't necessarily mean that everybody's doing the hardest thing that I can give them perfectly. But how do they leave feeling accomplished? How do they leave feeling challenged but not overwhelmed? And how do they why do they want to come back? Even for those people who are on the lower end of the skill set in the whole room, especially for those people, how do I get them to come back to a space that could be very intimidating? And modifications, variations, those are the best words in the history of fitness instructors available. Modifications, variations, so, so, so important. And as you grow as a teacher, this is going to take time, again, probably a few months, you need to have the ability to scan the room, no matter how many people are there. You've got to see who is doing something so efficiently they almost look bored. And maybe if they're not bored, even if they're still enjoying it, who is doing something just a little too easily, and who is driving the struggle bus. And without blowing up anybody's spot publicly, and without any shame attached to it, you've got to be able to change an exercise so that way the person who is bringing up the rear, they still understand that they're working just as hard as everybody else. And that you as their coach, you're okay that they don't move as fast as other people. Maybe they can only do 5 push-ups instead of the 8 that you told the class. You gotta tell them that's okay, because you just want them to try. That is your goal, is to get them to try and try a little bit harder than what they did last time. And not just with people who are on the bottom, as I mentioned, the person on the other end of that spectrum who was whooping all the ass and finishing it in like 2.2 seconds. You gotta know how to make that particular exercise more challenging. So that way everybody is working at the same level. They're just doing different things. Okay? So again, a wrap-up point is teaching 4 skill levels at once in the same damn class. I can't tell you how important that is. So now I'm going to, no, that was so obnoxious. I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to check to see what's going on in this chat box here. Oh, you've got water, I see. Now, Tara, I have water too, but I just like this better. Dahlia, no judgment on that hangover situation. Okay, shit, this is strong. You know when you haven't had something in a minute, and like I knew it was strong, and I took a sip, and I'm like, oh god, the chest hairs are coming real quick. All right, let's see what we got here. It's all right. Listen, you guys know when it's your first webinar, you don't know how the cocktail situation goes down, okay? But now you know for next time, you come prepared with a vessel. Okay, I mean, you really don't have to, but I just really like drinking. And I'm home, don't have to drive, don't give a shit. So, do you guys, hey Tony! So, do you guys have any questions out there for me? Anything that I can answer? You could throw it in the chat box. I just want to, as you guys are thinking of some questions, I'm just going to go over points 1 and 2 real quick again. Number 1, a key to being a kick-ass fitness instructor is knowing who the hell you're instructing and knowing them from a physical, emotional, mental, financial, every standpoint that you can get to know someone. Try and do that. And that's going to take a few months, if not a few years. Also, you may find that your squad may change over time. where I started out teaching pretty much just only women, and in women I mean cis women, so women who identify as women and have done so their whole lives, as opposed, and now I'm like, oh, dudes, you want to be my squad? And on top of that, straight men sometimes now want to be in the squad. Because I also troll everybody who follows me on Instagram and stuff. So I'm like, oh, I get real hyped to see that my squad is growing. Moving on. Oh yes. So the second point that I had, just in case you're joining us and you also want to think about what kind of questions to put out there, is that you can teach multiple skill levels within the same class. This is particularly important for anybody who teaches in any kind of group setting. So whether that group is 2 people or 20 or 50, you've got to be able to scan the room, get a general picture if anybody is really ahead or really behind, and make adjustments for that person or that small group of people. So that way everybody is working equally hard, although they may be doing different things physically. All right. So, what do you say we keep this train going? Cool. So keep those questions coming. I'm gonna put my laptop back over here. So breathe a little bit. There we go. Okay. And I get fidgety. I have to shift around this because I'm sure, like you guys out there, my hamstring is fucked up, and I'm always sore for some reason. So I can only sit in the same position on like a soft surface for so long. Okay, so my next point, my third point in being a kick-ass fitness teacher is that you've got to be knowledgeable of your craft. Squad. You cannot kick something's ass if you don't know the kind of ass you're about to kick. One reason why I feel I've been successful and popular as a pole instructor is that I didn't just take some classes and then think, oh, I'm going to teach after like 6 months. I will punch you in the fucking face. What what has helped me is being a student for 3 years before I was teaching. And then the certification, yes, I did expert. About four years ago, I did expert, and I have my group fitness certs. Okay, that's great. But I'm also, when I was teaching and when I was really starting to get into it, I was a competitor, a very amateur, super duper amateur competitor, but competitor, performer. As I began teaching, I started to become an event producer. I did Dangerous Earths. And so I really had a multifaceted view of the industry. So that way, when I'm looking at my pole students and they're excited and they're like, "Ooh, let's do this spin," I'm not just teaching them how to backspin. I'm teaching them this is in different contexts physically, how you might change the spin. When you're just alone, it's just you in the studio, you in a room, eye contact doesn't matter. Stage presence doesn't matter nearly as much. But in the context of a performance or of a competition, now having that perspective is really important and understanding different elements that come with it. And so it's really, really vital, and it's given me so much that I understand this entire industry. I understand the context that this person is taking my pole dancing class. I understand potentially where they could go, the things that they could start doing, where we're at right now, what maybe might look like in 6 months. Those things are so incredibly important. And so understanding the industry that you're in or the sport that you're teaching, it gives you so much of a richer context to speak from. And that will help your students in more ways than you'll ever know. And they will be so thankful because now you're not just someone who popped out of nowhere and was like, "Oh, just go and teach us right quick." But you're a part of that sport. And in your students' eyes, you are the damn sport. Don't ever forget that, and don't take it for granted, and do not underestimate it. In your students' eyes, you are the entire sport. You can take that one to the bank. I'm going to take it. Ooh, 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 ooh. More chest hairs. So, okay, being knowledgeable about your craft. And so this is actually, let's do 3 part B. Because I had somebody posted a question, and this is a forever question about certification. I just minorly mentioned something a few minutes ago about uh, being knowing your craft and certifications and acknowledgement and I took expert and blah blah blah. So in regards to certifications, there are so many out there. It's like there's 2 certifications for every one fitness person because everybody's trying to invent the next best thing where they can ask other people for hundreds and or thousands of dollars so that way you can be an official certified Rod Diva, and I I want everybody out there in webinar land to be extremely cautious and extremely um, skeptical and very uppity and elitist when it comes to certification. Whether it's something that is super mainstream or something that's still very niche like pole is, I would want the certification program that I'm about to give my rent money to be certified by some kind of national governing body, such as the NCAA, such as NASM, which is the National Association of Sports Medicine. That's what I have my personal training cert through. There's also ISSA, I want to say. I can't remember what all these damn acronyms are, but they're important. There's also ACE, AFA. I mean, there's a lot. CSC, CSCA, CSCA. Jesus, people, use words, not letters for everything. But you get it. Basically, you want something that is reputable. That's like if you see a college, if you see a sign like get your master's degree on the subway, you like, come on, Booski. Come on, I need you to use common sense. Now, if it's coming from a school that you've heard of, maybe it's something that you haven't, do your research on it. Check with your other fitness friends. Do they have it? What's up with that? That is such an important thing, a really easy way that you can figure out, does this certification make sense? Talk to people who are already doing what you're doing. They don't even have to be your friends. I've learned so much because I simply put out a Facebook question years ago. I said, ooh, I'm going to get my group instruction certification from AFA. Yay, go me. And one of my other friends chimed in, was like, yo, dude, if you wait 3 months, you can save $200-300. If you wait until this part when AFA does their annual sale, and you can get the same certification for 100 instead of spending 325 on their off season. And I was like, oh shit, that's wonderful. Tiffany kept money in my pocket. What? That's friendship, son. Okay, so reach out to the people who are already doing what you want to do. Ask them what certifications they have. They'll probably tell you which ones that they liked. They love what was actually helpful, which ones were hard as shit, which ones don't mean shit. In case anybody's curious, I have my personal training certification through NASM, which is like the fucking LSAT, the fitness that test. I gotta take another drink thinking about that test because I got another one that I'm not really studying for, and I should be. Shit. So I got that. The test was hard as fuck, and it was. I spent about $800, but it was worth every single penny. It was worth every flashcard. It was worth every failed practice quiz. I learned so much with my NASM Certified Personal Training program. I also have, or I've taken at least in the past, some are expired, but I've done ACLA's group fitness certification. That was definitely when I took it, it was a shit ton easier than NASM, but that was still good. It was a good intro to teaching. For pole dancing, I have expert level 1 through 4. I also have Schwinn, which is a spinning certification program. I've got that, although I don't teach spin, but I thought, for a time I thought I was going to do that. And somebody else paid for it, so we all got Schwinn. Um, and of course, I have CPR and my, what's it, CPR, AED, defibrillator, first aid course. You can't do shit without that. Like, none of those certifications matter if you don't have CPR. And then there's others I have. I think those are the big ones though. And of course, the only one of the few things that is going to trump any of those fancy letters that I just gave you is if you have a college degree or some kind of you went to somebody's school of athletics. You were a student, you have your undergrad degree, you have your master's, your PhD or something. Obviously, that's going to trump what I learned in 3 months, what took you 3 years, if not longer. Cool. So another point that I want to make is, and this is the part where it's less about your technical teaching skills and it's more about your students' ability to connect with you on a personal, you're on our level kind of level. Don't be afraid to show, to be vulnerable, to feel a little stupid, to fuck up and to screw up in front of your students. Now, I want you to know what the hell you're doing. Of course. I want you to be as prepared as humanly possible. But I also want you to remember that your students are human and they see you as human. And while it may seem counterintuitive that watching you mess up might give them more pride in themselves than in you, but that's exactly what happens. Right now, for those cult teachers, you're a peer. Shit, you're a peer. And you are way down here looking up like, can I play basketball with you, Michael Jordan? But I can't do it. You're gonna say no because you're Michael Jordan and you're perfect. And I'm gonna mess it all up. Please, please, but don't answer me, I'm scared. The more you can start to even this out, so you're only maybe slightly above your students in their eyes, but you're still touchable. You're still tangible. You're still a person to them. Man, is that going to make such an important, that's going to be such a big deal because now they want to be a part of your career. They want to cheer you on just as much and appreciative as they are for all the keep goings, you're doing awesome, you're doing great, or the stiffer versions of that, like get your ass up and do it again. As much as they appreciate that, they get so excited when they get to turn the tables. And when those roles become reversed and they can give you support, they love giving you support because they want to see you succeed just as much as you want to see your students succeed, and you'll do anything and it doesn't matter and you're so excited. Oh man, do they want to do that for you? They want to be there, they want to cheer you on. So a great example of this is after the end of some pole dancing classes, I'll show also because I need to practice. I tell my students, I was like, you have to make me try this after class. Like, you do not let me leave this room. And they do it. They're like, Roz, you owe us an Iron X, bitch. And I'm like, fuck, they remember. And then I do it. And even if I fall flat on my face, they get to watch my progress week after week after week after week. And they get excited seeing my progress because they can't wait until the day that they can get it. Because then they can, well, I'm sorry, the day that you get that. Because then they can say, I remember when Rob almost was a shit. And we're like, no, bitch, keep trying. Did you tell us to keep trying? So, Raj, you have to keep trying. And they can walk around saying, that's my instructor. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You see that? That's my instructor. And they're so proud of that. And if now doing this also, you don't have to do this just physically. You can do this on social media. Oh man, let's talk about that for a hot second. Showing your shortcomings, not a ton of them, but it's every so often. Showing a fail compilation, how you fuck up something, or talking about personal goals on social media is so great because your students will have so much respect for you when you, in so many words, are humbled by education. And when you show them you can survive a failure, your students are dying to know and they need confirmation from you, their fit God, that you are able to survive your own mistakes. Okay? Damn, son. I that that really truly makes such a big difference because now they see, well, Roz did it. She fell. I guess it's okay if I fall too. Because I know I'm not alone. And I know that she's not gonna judge me and she's not gonna look down on me because she just did the same thing I did. Okay? That is it's so great seeing that and people they want to be a part of your process and they want to be just a part of you. They want to be a part of you outside of class. They don't need to know every bit about your life in detail, but invite them in, make them a part of your story, give them their own chair in the cheering section. They will take that and they will cheer louder than you ever thought was possible. So I want to pause for a second. Let's come back to this chat bar. I see there's a lot of good things happening. Oh, happy belated birthday, Dahlia. Um, I should have said that a while ago. So we got AFA, yes. Let me see. My students love seeing me fail. Tara, let's talk about that. I mean, not only do they need that confirmation that you are stronger than your mistakes, but it is just nice to make a little bit of an ass of yourself because it lightens the mood sometimes. And especially, if you're doing something that is as difficult as pole dancing, even if it's not pole, if you're just doing just hard shit, and you just have a moment and it's slightly hilarious, who doesn't want to laugh at that? It breaks up the tension. Again, it shows your humanity. And that's when people can connect with you on an emotional and a human level and not just, you're a teacher goddess that I can never talk to because I'm not cool enough. Nah, son. Everybody has cupcakes at the cool kids table. Oh, that's awesome. You are perfect. You get it. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Is that they see you're human and suddenly they say, well, maybe I can get like Roz. So instead of you just saying, oh, when I started I was terrible, but now you're showing them proof of everybody has some kind of a starting point. So here, I would love to get some more questions and keep this great convo going. So let's see here. I would love, you know what? Why don't you guys put in the comment box who are your people? Who do you think? And I'm not, if you don't know right now, that's okay, but I would love to hear you talk about your ideal clients or your ideal students and describe them any way you'd like. And, as I mentioned before, I think I happen to resonate very well with plus size women, and particular plus size women of color. And, that's because A, birds of a feather flock together, and B, that shit just makes sense. When they see me, I don't have to do nearly as much explaining to them. And they don't have to do nearly as much explaining to me about their current situation or their shortcomings. It's much less of an issue. And I also recognize that my tribe, I work much better with absolute beginners to like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I'm still struggling. I also work well with clients who respond to coddling, quite frankly, and overexcitement, like cheerleader on speed at homecoming excitement, and those who are maybe they're searching for some more confidence, and they want that confidence, and they know it's there, but maybe they have trouble bringing it out of themselves, and so they need someone to help them dig it out. And that's what I love doing, and that's what I work best with. Now, if you put me in the front of, like the WNBA and said, go coach them, not even just coach them in basketball, but just coach them in conditioning, I'd be a hot ass mess. And, because when they're at a strong athletic level, they already know what they're doing, then I find myself saying, well, what the hell am I going to teach you? Because you know what I'm trying to teach you. You're self-motivated and you've already got that. So I understand and I'm cool with that. I like working with beginners. I feel like I have a lot more to offer the beginners and the underdogs of the fitness world than the super seasoned veterans who already know everything. They know form. They've got that all down. I'm gonna take a sip for a second. Mm, mm, mm. Oh, here we go. Raven just wrote, students over 30. I live in a college town. Students who struggle but keep going. Man, oh man, Raven, this is so great that you understand that. Knowing the age is an example of a great factor that, or not a great factor, I'm sorry, a characteristic that could end up playing a very big role in your business, in marketing, in also how you're going to approach a class. Because there very well may be different goals and objectives if you're looking at a bunch of 25-year-olds versus a bunch of 45-year-olds. And no group is better, no group is worse than the other. But again, the more you can understand who is standing in front of you, listening to you yell and scream, the, the better experience it's gonna be for the clients and for you. So besides Raven, I'd love to hear you guys. The question that I'd love to see some chatter going on, is who is your tribe? Who are the people? Who's your ideal client? Even if you don't have them yet, I want to know who you like teaching, um, any characteristics or things that you notice about them, and or if you haven't done that yet and you want to go after that market, maybe put that out there and we can all talk about it as a group and figure out how we can get you to your target population. In the meantime, I want to do a little bit of a side note. Well, I guess this isn't really a side note, but um, in the description of this webinar, I talk about building a tribe or how people get this like cult status. How those teachers that I'm talking about, the ones that you will run over your grandmother for before you're late to their class or when you give up your spot on their class. So, uh, you know, social media. I know everyone talks about the power of social media, blah, 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 but, and everyone's on it. Great. Some people really suck at it, to be quite honest. Teaching goes far beyond just your class at a certain point, especially when it's an uber social sport like pole dancing, or if it's a team sport that you're coaching where people are naturally, they're going to talk to each other. They're going to communicate. They have to, as opposed to if all you did was taught a spin class once a week where you don't necessarily need to talk to someone else in that class for it to be successful or for you to be successful. But in pole dancing, we know that's not going to happen. You, even if you don't want to, even if it's more about like 3 or 4 words, or you just spend your whole time communicating with the instructor, you're going to have to talk to somebody. You just do. You have to talk to someone to be successful at that. So, anywho, but with social media, one thing that I've seen a lot of people kind of screw up is giving your audience an incentive to be engaged with you, to comment, to ask a question. If you are seeking to build a tribe and a following through social media or in person, you can't rely on just pretty pictures. That would be nice for people to look at and they'll like, but will that necessarily bring their butts to your classes? Probably not. I mean, it could and it couldn't, but people want to know, they want to see who's the person behind all of those really great pictures. Okay? They want to know a little bit about you because ultimately, group fitness people follow instructors that they like. Doesn't mean that they follow the most highly qualified, incredible athletes that exist. They will come to your class first and foremost because they like you. And the reverse of that is true. People will head for the fucking hills if they can't stand your stinking ass. So, one way for people to like you, to get to know you, is to show who you are. Maybe every fourth or fifth Facebook or Instagram post, you take a break from marketing an event, you take a break from something else, and you show what's happening in your real life outside the gym. You say maybe like, oh snap, it's my birthday, I'm going out to dinner, or oh man, look at these shoes I want to buy. It doesn't even have to be something super important, but it's got to be something. That's what I'm talking. It doesn't have to be perfect, but there's got to be something. And again, this is the multi-dimensionality that just as I want you to be multifaceted and well versed in the sport that you're teaching, your social media presence has also got to be multifaceted and diverse in your approach. Because some people are going to respond to things differently than others. So if what's that? Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yes. So let's say you've got 5 people. 1 or 2 of them may love and be convinced that you're the person to work with them based on pictures alone. Other people will love to see you training or working with other people. And that's going to be, their motivation to work with you because they don't want to feel left out. And then other people will follow you because their friend tagged them in some ridiculous twerking video that you did. And, even though you weren't teaching something that wasn't necessarily a business related post, they just thought it was cool. And they're like, well, shit, she looks like she's fun. I want to go and roll with her. Okay, so, and it's almost impossible. As much research as you do, it is almost damn near impossible to to predict or to know what everyone is going to respond to. So that's why it's important to diversify your social media and think about the different posts and what you're writing and the type of content that's going out there. Now, just a quick question. Would you guys be interested if I did a webinar, let's say, on social media and marketing? And I mean, I assume the answer would be yes. And I am certainly I'm not perfect at it, and I'm still learning a lot myself. But even though, like on Facebook and Instagram, I have almost the same amount of followers right now. I've got about 5,700 followers on each platform. And I've noticed what patterns kind of work well, and I've got a pretty good engagement rate. And when I say engagement, I'm talking about people, not just likes, but people who comment on things, what they share, how they find you, or if they tag other people. I know a little bit. I know a little bit, and as I learn, just like with all this webinar and the other ones, I just want to share what I've learned with you guys because I didn't invent any of this. I did not invent pole dancing. I'm not the first person to come and to be a good coach. And I recognize that everything I said, I probably subconsciously snatched it from someone else and just kind of remixed it so it made sense to me. And so I want to make sure that I pay that forward and that you guys, anything that I say or that I do, whether it's here in this webinar or if it's in class, take it, steal it, teach it. I mean, I didn't invent dance. I don't care. Go ahead and do that. And that's what I encourage is I want you to take the information that I'm giving you, morph it, mold it, bake it so that it resonates and it makes sense for you. So, and just as I suspected, we're definitely Raven, Dahlia, Karen, all about that social media webinar. So I'm going to do another one. I'm not sure what date yet, but I'll do another one in March, and I'll talk about building, or at least starting, I should say, starting a little social media cult. I would also love to hear, hopefully tonight's webinar is helpful for you guys too, again, about kicking ass as a fitness instructor. So give me your feedback, and even if it's not feedback or questions right now, let's just throw some stuff out there. What do you guys like about the teachers that you've worked with? And I'm going to take a quick second here to actually stop talking and just let you take. I'm a drink, I'm a drink, I'm a drink. So just to help keep spurring conversation, let me look at my notes here and see if there is anything else that I really want to go over. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Dolly is coming through. I like when teachers actually look me in the eye. Sometimes it's like they aren't looking at us. Does that make sense? Okay, so here's where my skin crawls as an instructor. I don't know how people go a whole class without acknowledging their damn students in the eye. I don't give a shit if that class is 10 minutes. I don't care if there's one person or 50. Every single person gets a good job. I see you in the corner. Nice leggings, nice ass. Only say the nice ass to people you know, because otherwise it sounds creepy. But Dahlia, I could not agree more. Eye contact, just being acknowledged, that is a basic human requirement. Not everybody is looking to go into your class to come out feeling like the best athlete. They just want you to know that you give a shit. That goes so far. And after class, even if you didn't see a lot of what they did, just saying, thank you for coming, good job. Oh man, I will tell you, with me personally, I have been in classes where in the middle of class I've wanted to cry. I have been fighting tears so hard because I thought I sucked so bad. And I go into that downward spiral of self-defamation for no real reason and embarrassment and shame. Unfortunately, I think one or two of you probably have done it as well. But I go through this and I keep thinking, I think to myself, like, that was so embarrassing. But then the teacher will come out, usually Kira, after class, and she's like, "You did a great job today. I'm so glad you came to class." And slowly I'm like, "You are? Really? You're proud of me?" Oh, it does. It changes everything. Everything. Sam Starr, I also have another a similar story with her. For a couple months I took her level 3 class at Body and Pole, which is like a level 12 because she's fucking Sam Starr. And everybody else is flying on the ceiling and I'm still on the floor literally trying to like improve my inverts and like shit that I was like, this is such basic bitch bullshit. Why am I in here? I feel bad because I'm taking the spot of somebody else who actually deserves to be there. And afterwards, Sam would be like, dude, come back to class. I don't give a shit if you fit. Like, they don't. They don't. And oh my gosh, calling them by name, Karen, you are so on it. Knowing your students' names makes them feel like the coolest person that ever walked the planet. Even sometimes, if I don't remember names, I might remember stories or contexts. So I might look at people and be like, hey, boo, like my generic, I don't know your name, but I remember I was like, oh, how's your back feeling? I remember last week you said it was a little bit funkadelic. Or, oh man, you got new sneakers today. So if it's, name is wonderful, but if you're like me and you're kind of a dumbass and forget people's names that you shouldn't be forgetting, try and pay attention to some other attributes, and pole classes are usually small enough where, for me, I can remember a face if they've been in class before. Now, if I saw them in the street, I don't know who the fuck you are, which is a mess. But but when I see them in class, I usually remember like I'm pretty sure we've done this before, or if I'm not sure, I guess that we have. But they're like, no, I've never been here. Like, oh, okay. And it's like a surprise instead of when you're like, hi, are you new? They're like, no, bitch, I was here 3 weeks in a row. So definitely my tip there. So let's hear some other things from you guys about what your favorite teachers do. What makes you fall in love with them and why? As I've just to give a quick rundown of the four main points that I spoke about today, and there's probably about 40,000 other ones, but one is make sure you know your people and you know who you're teaching. Number two, make sure that you can teach multiple skill levels in the same class. So no matter who shows up, they're fucking rocking out. Number three is have a multifaceted approach to the industry and to the sport that you are teaching. So what I mean by multifaceted is you're not just an instructor, you're an instructor, student, competitor, event producer, judge, whatever, however you can just get really into your shit, get really into your shit. And this actually, this I didn't bring up, but it never gets old. Please, please throw out gratitude like that shit is free as fuck. One more time. Throw out gratitude like that shit is free as fuck. If I need to explain the power of thank you to you, then we've got a problem. You thank students for coming to class. You thank them for supporting your career. Oh, yeah, I went there. Supporting their career. Because let's face it, we wouldn't have a career if they didn't come to class. So you damn sure right that every couple few weeks, I'm like, guys, just so you understand the impact of your presence here makes make sure that I can pay my bills, I can be an independent adult, and it makes brings me so much joy. So thank your students for being a part of your progress as a professional. And gratitude just doesn't get old. It truly, really, truly doesn't. And the more gratitude you put out there, that universe is going to bring it back to you because that's what the universe does, or God or whoever you want to bring it back to you, they certainly will. Oh gosh, more great comments. Seeing how much they love what they do and showing your passion. Oh my gosh. When you love what you're teaching, when you love who you're teaching, where you're teaching, that's it. That is what, sorry, I'm just gonna sit this down for a second. That makes such a difference because you're gonna give your heart to your class. Now, the flip side of that is in my case, when I really love what I'm doing, I have to regulate how much energy I put out there because I am really good at burning myself out. And if you guys, if anybody out there follows me on Facebook in particular, but also on Instagram, uh, within the last 2 months, I'm sure you probably at some point seen some kind of like, I'm fucking tired, I'm exhausted, what am I doing kind of post, which is a clear indicator of burnout. But it is so, so, so important that you that you burn out for a good reason at the very least, okay? And going back to that point, just the main point is about having passion for what you're doing. That's what's going to get you through this very tumultuous industry that can change at the drop of a hat. One day, the biggest change that I'm actually going through right now is I got fired from Crunch earlier this month. And for those of you who aren't familiar, so Crunch is a chain of gyms. It's in like New York, Miami, LA, like all like the sexy cities like that. And there, it's where I started my whole like fitness revolution, way before I was teaching. And I've been a part of Crunch for just about 9 years. March would have made 9 full years that I was client student. And then I've been teaching for about 2 years, 2 years there. And although I was only teaching a couple classes, or really like 1 or 2 classes a week, when they fired me, and I got fired because I was giving out my business cards to students after class, and Crunch felt that I was trying to steal clients and undercut their $1 million marketing schemes and somehow take down a multi-million-dollar corporation. I wish I could say I was that cool. that I made all this money off of them behind their back, but I did not. But anyways, so that's a big change for me because Crunch, I had this huge, big, wide outlet of like physically a huge room and looking out, in some classes seeing 50 people, and that was awesome. And, but what I've seen is just with no warning and just very quickly, now it's changed. And now I've got to adjust to that change. And had this been a job that I already didn't like, and then I felt that I got mistreated from a place I didn't like, that's just so much negativity and so much fuckery happening. But I love what I do. So I can at least look back on all the classes that I did teach at Crunch and my students, and I can at least be so grateful for what they gave me and what they taught me. So it's because I love what I do. I'm obsessed with my students, so obsessed with all my damn students. And it makes going to work really like, you call that work? I'm calling it work because that's what IRS calls it work, but this shit isn't work. It's work, but not like going and filling out TPS reports. Oh gosh. So you know what? Let's start to wrap things up. So before I go, I will hang around for a few minutes if you guys have any other questions. And also if there's anything, even if it's not related to this topic tonight, things that you want to hear me speak about, questions you've got right now about this, I'd love to answer that and just to be a resource for you guys. And in case you want to go back and re-listen to any of this, I have all of my webinars up. There's only one that's paid, but the others, they're all free. You can listen to them. It's really good, like kind of white noise when you're at work or something, to just hold on to. I'm not sure if you can download them. I'm not that sophisticated yet, but hopefully I'll get to that. I'll be able to do that. So but let me also just close by telling you some upcoming things that I have. As per usual, I am still teaching all the damn time at Body and Pole in New York City, as well as Incredipole, which is in Greenpoint, a neighborhood in Brooklyn. I also am still doing my personal training thing. I'm working with clients at a Brooklyn Fit Lab. And because the weather is gorgeous, or it's about to be gorgeous, I definitely want to host my own classes outside. I love, there's so much, well, there's not so much space in New York City, but we will find a plot of land and we will go out and sweat under the sun and get all of the vitamin D that my little black ass can stand to make up for all the things I'm not getting right now on the couch inside because it's winter. So I've got that, and you guys can always check out my website, www.rozthediva.com. My schedule's up there, my workshops are up there. All of the things that you need to stalk me are very easily accessible. And it's got links on my social media. So, all right, well, unless there is anything else, then I'm going to bid you all adieu. Thank you, thank you, thank you for hanging out with me tonight. I'd love to hear your feedback later on. And hit me up anywhere you want. I'm gonna finish this drink, probably get something else to eat because I'm hungry. I was about to finish this drink. Call that a wrap. Thank you guys. Thank you, Talia, Karen, Tara. I hope I was saying your name right, Tara, this whole time. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you guys. See you later. Thank you, Karen.